Have you ever been awakened at 3 a.m. in the morning by a piercing sound that left you with massive migraines, dizziness, nausea, and your child's nose gushing with blood, and just an overall feeling of something's wrong with me? If this sounds familiar, you're probably a diplomat staying at the U.S. Embassy in Havana, Cuba. If you're not a diplomat, then you've been targeted by the U.S. government. Welcome to America in 2023. Hello, my conspiracy nuts, and you know who you are. This is Byron Dice, and you're listening to Let's Get to the Bottom of That podcast, probably the best show on the internet, where each week I'm joined by Mike and Jason, and we cover a topic that's been left out in the public square, unattended, and covered with questions from the official story. Today is episode 26, the Havana Syndrome. So, my critical free thinkers, get your tinfoil hats on and sit back and relax, and let's get to the bottom of that.
Iceman Enterprises exclusively presents a talk show that will get to the bottom of things once and for all. And now here's your host for Let's Get to the Bottom of That, three weirdos on a mic.
Yeah!
That was good.
Back again for another episode on Let's Get to the Bottom of That. What's up, fellas?
Right on.
Man. Hey,
How's
Byron,
it
I
going,
didn't
dude?
tell you the last time when Mike and I commented on how good your intro was.
Right?
I got feedback from somebody that listens to the show and said, "Man, when you guys told him that he did a good job, I was sitting there thinking, man, he really did a good job."
Yeah, he did. Universal acclaim.
Yeah, it's here. Thanks, guys. I'm just doing what I can for that one listener we got out there that wants to get to the bottom of that.
Yeah.
Real quick, we got some headlines to go over before we get into today's show, which is the Havana Syndrome. If you're under a rock, you probably don't know, but there's been 41,000 hours of video footage that has been released. I'm not sure where it was released from, who was holding this footage.
Biden.
I don't know. I'm guessing Congress,
Was
because
it just like classified?
apparently somebody was holding this footage. The January 6th committee had it. Mm-hmm. They knew about it. It's been released. Tucker Carlson's been playing it. But since that has taken place, there is a trial of Dominic Pizzoli, or Pizzello. He's one of the defendants of January 6th, Capitol breach. It was paused because classified FBI messages reveal in court that they were altering evidence.
Them? No.
Oh,
Can't be.
so they've been altering evidence. So they're like, we're putting a pause on this case going forward.
Dismissed.
So this guy is one of the Proud Boy members that was there.
He's
Okay.
one of the Proud Boys, and it's in a document. I saw the document. It said we need to switch this evidence around.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We need to do something to this evidence.
Do they not think they're going to get caught?
Yeah. I mean,
I guess so. They've done it for so long without getting caught.
or like even if they get caught, they'll just throw it down the memory hole.
I guess.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was one of the Proud Boys. Also, Dude, the American Shaman, or the Q, I say American Shaman because I see that on the CBD store. It says American Shaman.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not sure
The
why it's
CBD
American
store.
Shaman. My initials are Charles Byron Dice, so I always look at that and go, hey, there,
American.
CBD. I'm
There
an
you go.
American
CBD.
Shaman.
Oh, okay.
So, what was the QAnon Shaman? Had the horns. He was kind of the face of January 6th.
Yes.
He's got 4 years in prison, and then we got evidence showing these 41,000 hours of video. The police are escorting him, giving him a tour basically through the Capitol. Have you seen the footage?
Yeah, I saw the footage.
Yeah, it's like,
I saw pictures of them escorting them around.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
saw
couldn't
it.
believe
And
it.
one guy was trying to open the door for him. Oh, we can't get in here. Let's go around this other guy.
Yeah.
This other place.
How crazy was that?
It was absolutely, I mean, this is what we've always known. They
Right.
always show all the violence that took place, but they never show the stuff that was peacefully protested.
Right.
And
But let's for our viewers, let's be 100% on this. Them trespassing was the crime, and the people that were breaking in, smashing windows, those people should be prosecuted for property damage and so forth. But the people that were in there just walking, looking around, looking at books, people just picking up things and be like, oh, how about that?
Yeah, I
They're
like
going
how
about the
once somebody tweeted a picture of them. You know, they were in the red velvet ropes. They were like, "I'm glad these terrorists decided to make sure they stayed within these ropes
Right.
here."
Yeah, I saw that.
Naming them, like labeling and naming them terrorists when they were trespassing. They were doing that. That's something you can't go somewhere where you're not allowed to go.
I thought we could go anywhere that it's publicly accessible.
Yeah, but
Only
I don't
non-restricted
think it was
areas.
accessible at that time.
Oh, really?
Right.
Going in the chambers.
Yeah. So I mean that's something that we can all agree on. But them labeling as terrorist and overthrowing the government. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't understand.
That was ridiculous.
Here's another
Chuck
thing.
Schumer running
Here's
for his life.
another thing
That's
too.
so stupid.
Now that you've said that, for some reason, that seems to be like a thing that you can't do. Why can't we overthrow the government? What? I don't understand why that's a bad thing.
The
I
Constitution.
thought we were allowed to
Yeah,
if the government was overreaching.
Yeah, the Constitution says that that's basically the reason for the Second Amendment, right? It's for enemies both foreign and domestic.
Yeah.
So
I don't.
if a tyrannical government ever, got installed and, was basically putting us under martial law, then yeah, it would have to be overthrown.
Yeah. But this sense of, oh, don't ever come at us.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever come and try to overtake us. That's kind of silly to me because no, you work for me. This
They
is
don't
the
say it that
people's
way.
house.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've said it before and I'll say it again. We're living in the times right now that we were under with Great Britain, except we put people in. It's not royal blood. It's the same exact scenario.
Yeah. And if this footage turns out that they were, holding doors open for everybody the entire time, then I don't know, would that trespassing claim
That's true.
not hold as much water?
If they're allowed them, that's a good.
That is a
good
great
point.
question.
So
I mean, because if he's in prison for that, shouldn't that overturn it?
He's in prison for something different, right? Isn't it like what is it, like insidious? I can't remember what it
Inciting a
was
riot
called.
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wearing a weird thing on his head.
Yeah. And I'm assuming basically everyone else is, still awaiting trial. Getting.
Like we talked about in our January 6th episode, Scott Lang was supposed to have his trial this past January. I've scoured the internet. I have seen nothing about this. And Scott Lang, of course, was the one that helped out right there at the door. He had the crutch. He was being they were like saying, "Hey, you're attacking us with a deadly weapon," and he had a crutch or something. He was trying to help people out because they were getting trampled.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was supposed to have his trial in January. I haven't found anything on it, so I'm gonna have to do some more digging on that.
Yep.
Also in the news, guys, Dr. Robert Redfield, former director of Center for Disease Control, told lawmakers Wednesday that U.S. tax dollars funded risky gain-of-function research at Chinese virus lab at the heart of the COVID origin controversy. Shocker.
I know. I'm over it.
Shocker.
I'm over.
Yeah.
So, last time we got struck down on YouTube for saying, hey, I think the vaccine was for depopulation of the human race.
Right. we did.
So I don't know. I just read this from the Epic Times. So I wonder if we'll get struck down for him saying to lawmakers that U.S. tax dollars actually funded gain of function.
Probably.
Hello, Fauci. How come you're not in jail?
Yep.
I heard he did get fired, though.
Fauci?
Yeah.
Fired from where?
His whatever position he has. He's the highest paid government official ever.
I think he retired, and then I heard he went on as like a
convenient.
board member on something else.
How convenient. Retired.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
right?
Right
You know what I'm
after.
saying?
Yeah, right off into the sunset with his millions of dollars.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
millions of dollars.
They were talking about Fauci on Rogan the other day with Russell Brand. They were
Yeah.
both just. Did
Yeah,
you watch that
I
clip?
saw that, yes.
I mean,
Yes.
Russell Brand.
Russell Brand's on my radar. Whenever I see him on any kind of show, I'll go, I'm tuning in. He's
Yeah.
just got some insights that are a little different.
Yeah, that's what I like about him because he's
Yeah.
not left, he's not right, he's not all the way to the right, he's not all the way to the left.
He's for truth.
He just wants to. He just is a free thinker.
Yeah.
and he wants to hear different perspectives and wants to hear what's right, with the truth.
And when something's going south, he calls it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I do like him.
I think most people agree at this point that Fauci's got something off with him.
Oh,
There's so
Definitely.
much evidence against him now. I tremble at the thought that he's going to get away with it all. I need
yes.
I need
I
to
would
see something.
I would not. I've sat here for 4, maybe 5 years thinking that same way.
Yeah.
For numerous people that are in government official capacities that I'm like, why do they keep like the normal people would go to jail for this type of stuff.
Oh yeah.
But they just keep walking the streets.
Yeah.
And I can't wait till we do an episode, and I'm putting it on the catalog. Catalog? Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Catalog. The Hillary death count, the Clinton death count.
Oh yeah.
Because it's still going up.
It is.
Did y'all hear the
Didn't her
latest one?
Her assistant?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude.
Suicide.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. That was crazy.
And I don't know why they put this in the headline. There were no cameras.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always. Always. Yeah.
I can't wait to do that episode. All right, guys. That's today's headlines. Y'all got anything else you want to discuss before we hit Havana, Cuba?
I don't think so.
Let's go to Havana.
All right. I'm going to read real quick. This is what I got. I like using Chat GPT now. For some reason, I just like using it to see how close it is to what we're going to discuss. And I just typed in Havana syndrome, and this is what it spit out to me. The Havana syndrome refers to a series of unexplained health incidents that affected American and Canadian diplomats, intelligence officers, and their families in Havana, Cuba, starting in the late 2016s. The symptoms reported by the affected individuals have included hearing loss, dizziness, headaches, fatigue, cognitive difficulties, and other neurological problems. Okay, so the cause of the Savannah syndrome is still unclear and is subject to an ongoing investigations, although many have put many theories forward of what's causing this. Some are saying it's a directed energy weapon or microwaves, or some other people are going it's a viral or chemical agent, but nobody has had any evidence of any of these things. Okay, that's what I got from ChatGPT. It's pretty dang accurate of the other research that I found. So
yeah, that wasn't bad for sure.
I'm just saying it's gathering stuff from the internet.
Right. It's like Wikipedia, but an AI is doing it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you're right. So we're going to get into the Havana syndrome. If you're new to this show, and I wanted to real quick tell everybody, last week we did Down the Rabbit Hole, which was kind of off the cuff, random thoughts, roundtable discussion about whatever's going on in the world. We will do one of those a month, Down the Rabbit Hole. And if you don't like those, this is the type of episode that you normally will get, which is topic driven. And today is the Havana syndrome. If you don't know anything about it, fasten your seatbelt. You're about to learn. Before we do that, I'm going to jump off with this report from this Canadian, I think it's called Global News. And as soon as they're done with the report, we'll springboard off of this because I think this will explain what's going on in Havana.
For Canadian diplomats, the sun, culture, and political intrigue of Havana, Cuba was a dream posting. But in 2017, that all changed when 5 embassy staff and their families suddenly developed medical issues that would become known as the Havana syndrome. One staffer currently involved in a $28 million lawsuit against the federal government and who was given the pseudonym Diplomat Allen by the courts says he was awoken by a mysterious sound in the middle of the night.
A screeching, metallic scraping noise that just flooded the room. And I listened to it for about 20 or 30 seconds, and then as it was fading, it went woo, 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 woo.
He says he was overcome with nausea, and at the same time his eldest son's nose started gushing blood. When he reported what happened, weeks before, he says a Miami neurologist diagnosed he, his wife, and 2 sons with mild traumatic brain injuries, he says he was told to stay quiet.
The one thing the ambassador told me that at that time was that do not tell any other Canadians. We cannot start mass hysteria.
Global News has obtained over 700 pages of heavily redacted documents related to the case that appear to corroborate plaintiff claims that officials were more interested in keeping the story quiet than finding the cause. In multiple documents, officials referred to attacks, but after it was reported that 40 U.S. embassy personnel had the same symptoms, officials decided to stop using the word. The cause of the debilitating sound is still a mystery. One expert believes it was the mating call of the Indian short-tailed cricket. And when electrical engineering expert James Lynn published his theory of concentrated microwaves produced by military-grade weapons, Lynn says Canadian officials dialed him up.
There are some people, I wouldn't say who, but some people from Canada had contact with me and tried to understand what might have happened, what could have been done if indeed people intend to do it.
15 of the 23 Canadians impacted are involved in the lawsuit. 2 years after their lives were impacted, the embassy in Havana remains an unaccompanied posting, meaning it's too risky for diplomats to bring their families. Mike Drolet, Global News, Toronto.
Thanks for that, Mike. We'll get back to you later from Toronto. We appreciate you reporting live.
I love everything you do in the streets over there.
Doing great work.
I'll put all these resource notes, of course, on our blog on bottomofthat.com. You can find exactly where we're playing all of these clips and all of our research, so you can go there. Mike, we'll springboard from there. Do you want to go ahead and tell us what exactly is the Havana syndrome?
Sure. Yeah, we can talk about what it is and how it's being explained. That report got into one of the ridiculous explanations of it. What did you say, cricket?
Yeah, some long-tailed cricket or something.
Yeah, you heard a cricket and your son's nose just started gushing blood.
Oh, yeah, why?
Makes sense, dude.
Yeah, and
Come
I want
on.
to throw up and my head's pounding. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the noise. Sometimes I read online that the noise is also like chirping and like screeching.
Yeah.
And vibration.
Yep.
Yeah, it sounds like a sonic weapon to me.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, let's get into it for sure. So, like you said, it was first reported in 2016 by U.S. and Canadian embassy staff in Havana, Cuba. That's where it gets the name, Havana syndrome. But I've also been reading that people have been experiencing it prior to 2016. It was just unreported. That's just something I found in my research and thought was worth mentioning. But yeah, like you mentioned, it starts with a piercing sound, one that's described as persistent, high-pitched, and very loud. It is then followed by nausea, intense vertigo, dizziness, severe ear pain, not being able to think or speak clearly, excruciating headaches, and even partial blindness.
Yikes.
Yes. And yeah, many victims have reported brain damage without ever sustaining a concussion or anything. And medical professionals indicate damage to the auditory system, and in some cases, the wiring between the eye and the brain. And,
oh, wow.
And there's no fixing that. We don't know how to fix that at that point. Like, your eye is totally normal, but just the signal between, like, your eye and brain, it's, like, fried.
What?
Yeah. So there's, like, nothing you can do.
Some of the people that here that have had that cut?
Yeah. There was a guy, let's see what his name was. I have a bunch of people. I watched a 60 Minutes episode where they were talking about this, and they had a bunch of people. They had Olivia Troy, who was Homeland Security Advisor to Mike Pence. She was attacked multiple times while in Washington, D.C.
Oh, wow.
In
Washington?
What do you mean attacked?
By this, which we'll get into what I think it is in a second.
And you noticed that in that report from Mike, he said that they started calling an attack, but when the U.S. officials started complaining, they were like, well, let's drop that word attacked.
Yep. Yep. I'm going to be using the word attacked.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Absolutely.
Yep. There's a guy named Miles Taylor who was in that 60 Minutes interview. He was chief of staff for the Department of Homeland Security for the Trump administration. Very similar to the intro that Byron was talking about. He woke up at 3 a.m. in his apartment to a loud, inescapable chirping noise. He looked out his window to discover a white van in the street right next to his house with its brake lights on, and it immediately pulled off and sped away as soon as he, parted the drapes to peek out. Yeah, ridiculous. And the same thing happened to him again about 5 weeks later, so he was attacked multiple times as well. And then this guy, Robin Garfield, who is a Commerce Department official, he was over in China on official business. He was attacked multiple times. His entire family was attacked at the exact same time, so all of them had the same symptoms all at once, multiple times. And he was attacked once he got back to the United States.
Wow.
Yep. So what is it really? I mean, we can talk about what it is and why I'm using the word attacked.
Oh, I like it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean.
So Harvard Medical School also gives, an explanation that doesn't make any sense to really explain it to the layman. They say it's like a functional neurological symptom disorder.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah. So, yeah.
A disorder.
Yeah, basically. So the person's not faking, but no physical symptoms. They have physical symptoms that no medical condition, physical examination, or testing can explain.
Kind of like fibromyalgia. It's the same thing. Like there's no There's it's a disorder, but
Right.
there's no way that they can test whether you have it or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can
I
just
didn't know that.
you can just tell about the symptoms.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, they basically throw it into that functional neurological symptom disorder, and other people have different ideas. So there's a guy, James Benford, who's a physicist, PhD, and leading authority on microwaves. He, along with many other scientists and colleagues, believe that the mechanism behind the attacks is most likely pulsed electromagnetic energy. In other words, a focused beam of microwaves fired from a distance. That's what he thinks it is. And he goes into detail and shows pictures of what some of these microwave transmitters can look like. There's many different kinds, and some are small and can fit inside of a briefcase. Some are as large as a tractor trailer, and the larger the device, the longer the range. So
a focused high power focused beam of microwaves.
yeah,
Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
yes. And microwaves can go through practically anything.
Right.
Glass, brick, building material,
Right.
it goes through.
So I was listening to Neil T. deGrasse, and he says we're always constantly interacting with microwaves, but at a low percentage.
Yeah, like the background radiation. Yep.
Yeah. Like a very low level.
Yep. And yeah, this technology that he's talking about has been researched since the 1960s, and there's been some pretty interesting research when you dive into it. But what these weapons are known as is they're called directed energy weapons, or DEWs, DEWs, or active denial systems, ADS. So those two terms. And there's one that's been used actually that they call Medusa,
I like that one.
which is mob excess deterrent using silent audio. And they call it silent audio, but it's not really like a sonic weapon. Like it's not like blasting you with decibels. It's using this microwave auditory effect is what it's called. So you can't block out the sound even if you cover up your ears.
Because it's going through.
Yes.
Oh, gotcha.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And I'll explain why that happens. So this weapon is based on the microwave auditory effect, resulting in strong sound sensation in the human head when it is subjected to certain kinds of pulsed modulated microwave radiation.
Wow.
Yep. And the developers of this weapon claim that it can be basically through the combination of pulse parameters and pulse power, it's possible to raise the auditory sensation from discomfort to incapacitating people. So they can dial it up and dial it down. And you heard me mention a moment ago that you can still hear it even if you're covering your ears. The reason for that is because like normal sound perception, sound waves enter your ears, vibrate your eardrums, which is then converted to mechanical vibrations, and then those vibrations reach your inner ears where they turn into electrical impulses that are sent to your brain. That's how you hear things normally.
Right.
But when you're exposed to microwave pulses like this, your body tissues heat up rapidly, inducing vibrations directly inside of your skull. And these vibrations turn into electrical impulses inside of your inner ears, giving the perception of sound, even when there's no sound at all.
Wow.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, very interesting stuff, right?
I was going back to Neil T. deGrasse. He was talking about microwaves, and I didn't know, and I learned this recently, that the reason why the microwave heats up stuff is it just moves the particles back and forth.
Yeah.
And the friction.
Yeah, the molecules are
And so
starting to move faster.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the faster, I guess, the hotter, right?
Yeah.
So the more you leave it in there, the faster the molecules are going, and the hotter the food's going to get.
Yeah.
Yes.
And why is it always on the outside, but the mashed potatoes are cold in the middle? You know what I'm saying? It's like it moves from outside in.
Yeah, you got to
It's kind
stir
of
it.
weird, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, dude, it's weird because like in that 60 Minutes special on Havana syndrome that I watched as part of my research, William Burns, we've talked about him. He's the director of the CIA. He's been like increasing investigations into the attacks, but he's like, so far we have no idea. And I really don't buy it, I'll be honest.
Who do you think has their hands on this type of technology?
CIA.
The CIA.
That's what I would think.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
And we've learned from prior discussions that we've had both on air and off air, during like the MK Ultra years, like the CIA has shown that it's ready, willing, and able to test stuff like this on their own.
Absolutely.
So you hear
on their own people.
Yeah, so you hear these people like, Department of Homeland Security advisor, all these things, people in the CIA themselves. Like there's been a big number of people, a significant percentage that are in these types of roles that are having Havana syndrome. So yeah, they will test their stuff on their own.
Yeah, and you notice it was the diplomats at the U.S. Embassy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they made a mistake and hit the Canadians. I don't know why they did that, or was it testing, or was it an actual attack to I need to take some of these people out?
I don't know. Yeah.
It could have been since that's when it happened. That could have been when the first testing ground was started.
Could have been, for sure. Yeah, it's weird, dude, because, whenever William Burns, the director of the CIA, is like, we have no idea, I'm just like, I don't know about that, man. Yeah. I really think he knows.
Man.
He's well aware.
So they've hit our people and the Canadians where it first started. But they've hit, and you said they've hit people in Washington.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In that 60 Minutes.
That's crazy.
In that 60 Minutes show, someone said that somebody as high up as like a cabinet level position got hit, but they didn't reveal who it was. They didn't want to violate that person's privacy. But
has there been any fatalities of this, or is it just the symptoms of,
I don't know,
badness, like gushing of blood and migraines?
I've heard that it gets worse over time. So
I'm trying to figure out the end game.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, testing out this type of weaponry, maybe, I don't know, is what they're doing right now, and they're just testing it on random people and people in CIA positions and diplomats and stuff like that. Not sure.
We should test it on monkeys.
I can't. Yeah, what's wrong with that? I can't remember. I'm trying to figure out if this is the same technology that Susan and I were talking about, where you can walk down the streets of New York City and you can stand in a spot and the person next to you can't hear the voices, but you can stand in a specific spot and hear voices in your head. And they're like testing, like they put advertisements, they shoot it in this particular spot on the sidewalk, and you hear the voices in your head giving you this advertisement, but the person right beside you can't hear it. I can't remember if this is the technology. You know what I'm talking about?
No,
Yeah.
I've never heard this.
Yes, it is real.
Is it a real thing?
Yeah, it's real. They can project audio into you in a specific, but you can't hear it. You can't hear it in your ears. It's inside your head.
That's not.
It is real. We're going to have to do a show on it.
We're
I
going to have
can't
to, because that sounds crazy.
And then
I got a bullet point on this.
You do?
I got, yeah.
Okay.
So James Lynn, he was in that audio clip. Professor James Lynn, PhD. It's at the very bottom of my notes if you want to scroll down to it.
Okay.
They asked him in an interview
so this is it.
If it's possible to embed voices into people's heads using this technology. So this is basically like Professor X technology, right? Like from the X-Men. It's like all this stuff. And he's a world authority on microwave hearing. He deemed it theoretically possible to embed voices in microwave signals. And let me see. There was a study done in 1973 by Joseph C. Sharp and Mark Grove at Walter Reed Army Institute of Research, during which Sharp and Grove reportedly were able to recognize 9 out of 10 words transmitted by voice-modulated microwaves. This is in the 70s. So I don't know if they took it to the level where they can pinpoint somebody and, put voices in your head. I've heard a lot of people, talk about that in conspiracy circles and stuff.
They've tested it out in New York in Times Square, where that's the advertising capital of the world. You can stand in a particular spot and hear an advertisement.
So is that still
in your head?
Could you still? So if I went to New York right now to this specific spot, I would hear.
I don't know where it's at, and I don't know if they're still testing it.
So if
okay, I thought it was like if you go now and it's.
I'd have to check it out.
Like if they're shooting the
Yeah.
microwave
from a billboard or something.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
And like somebody was like, they when they were going through it, it was like, do you hear that? And they were like, no. And the person beside them was like, no. But they couldn't hear it audibly, even themselves. They were like, it was just in their head.
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah.
And that kind of explains these people that go off and do these crazy, horrific acts. And they go, well, a voice told me to do it.
Yeah, dude. Like how many mass shooters?
No doubt, dude.
I don't know. I mean, I'm a skeptic by nature, so I don't know. I'd have to.
We're gonna have to get the gun and
shoot
do
it
it
at
on Jason.
And then
Yeah, they were people online were calling it voice of God technology, and it's classified or whatever. But yeah, it brings like you said, it brings up an interesting point. If it does exist and we're not aware of it, how many mass shooters have reported hearing voices? Is that simply schizophrenia, or is something like this, attributed to some of those cases? I don't know.
They need scapegoats.
Could be.
They need scapegoats. I've got a yeah. I don't put it. It's very plausible to me. It's very plausible.
Plausible in the sense that they could.
You don't know if the technology's there. Is that what you're?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's just that sounds like, I don't know, comic book kind of stuff. Professor X.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, this is weird for me, for Jason, because he's got these weird theories about the moon. How it's just a painting up in the sky.
No, I said
this is a hologram.
It was cheese. I said it was cheese.
But you draw the line at somebody pointing a ray gun at your head and telling you to go kill the president.
Oh, I guess that's
okay.
I wouldn't be overly surprised if they had the technology. I can't remember who said it, but somebody on a podcast was saying like, what you currently understand about technology, there's probably classified technology that exceeds it by 10 to 15 years, something along those lines.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And for some reason they got all this technology that doesn't get out into the public. They use themselves.
Yeah.
That maybe once it does hit the public, it's tailored down. I mean, it's more usable and marketable for the public. But in the interim, it was actually intended for some other nefarious use.
Mm-hmm.
Like Facebook.
Okay, so
yeah,
What was that called? LifeLog?
LifeLog.
Yeah, LifeLog.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a very nefarious thing we're going to do. Oh, let's put it on everybody's phone. Now we can track everybody.
Yeah.
That seems simple.
That's true.
See, the technology was there, then it just got into the public and under the guise of, hey, it's convenient. Oh, I can talk to my aunt.
Yep. What if you could take like a tour of the CIA, like just you? There's like, we're going to tell you everything, but you can't tell anybody. And
wow.
And they start revealing all this crazy stuff.
I know I'd die the next day.
Dude, I'd be so nervous.
That'd be fun though.
Yeah.
Or like Area 51.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what I rather
That
go to
would
Area
totally
51
be fun.
rather than like the CIA.
And what if you got there and it was just a bunch of big empty warehouses?
Yeah.
Some guy over there with a janitor mopping the floor.
Yeah, they're like, here's the weather balloon that crashed here in the 40s. Just like it was in the newspaper.
And we're like, what? There's no bunker?
I'd die. That's funny.
Oh my gosh. Then why do y'all have all this security? It was fun. We like ruffling feathers.
Right. That's great. I'd love it.
Oh, let's see. I got a picture here on the screen. This is all the occurrences worldwide since it happened in 2016 in Havana.
Wow.
So that's weird. So there's your DC you're talking about, Mike.
How many? I can't see you.
Oh, you mean blow it up?
I heard some in Australia as well as I was looking through this. Like, there was a big protest about the vaccine mandates in Australia because you know how Australia really cracked down.
They cracked down.
Like 150,000 people came up to the capital of Canberra, Australia. I always thought the capital was Sydney, but
I did too.
Apparently,
are you kidding?
Sydney is the capital of
Mandela effect.
Yeah, Sydney is the capital of New South Wales, I think, which is a separate part. But
New South Wales.
Yeah,
that's not a place.
What?
They made that up.
I didn't
know that's a country.
But it is. It's in Australia. It's like a subdivision or whatever they call it. I don't know.
Did they just change that?
I don't think so. But anyway,
what is happening real
I don't
time?
know. It's that microwave.
It could be.
It's the I-beam.
But dude, you know what they did? They had 150,000 people there, and they wheeled out these LRAD things. So LRAD is actually like an audio way.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, long range audio device, I think is what that stands for. So they wheeled those out. So people thought it was LRAD, but then people were going home and they had like burns underneath their clothes. They were having Havana syndrome as well.
What?
Yeah, dude. There were people with like radiation burns, and there was a guy in the audience who had like an EMF detector, like a scanner, and it just like flew off the charts. There's a video of it on BitChute.
What?
Yeah. Like little kids and stuff with like radiation burns on their faces and stuff. It's insane.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
I got to look that up.
They wheel up these LRADs So people think it's the LRAD, but it's actually like a different thing.
So they know about the LRAD. And what would the LRAD do
The LRAD,
if it was going to be deployed?
if the LRAD gets deployed, like if they point an LRAD at you and you're like in a crowd, it's just going to like blast you with like 160 decibels and like you're just going to have to get out of there.
Oh, gotcha.
It can still, they call all this stuff non-lethal, which is weird to me because like the electromagnetic stuff, it's like cooking you, like we just talked
Yeah,
about.
like you got burns on your chest.
Yeah, like you're getting cooked similar to how a microwave oven works.
But did you die?
But did you die?
Non-lethal.
Yeah, not immediately, but you know.
Non-lethal, but I felt like crap.
Yeah, and who knows what's going to happen in, like 5 years.
Right.
If you get.
You're going to grow an extra limb.
Yeah.
But
And
did
your
you
kids.
die?
But
Right.
did you die? Though?
Did you? It's non-lethal.
We were right. We were telling the truth. You
Sorry,
didn't
your
die.
kids have two heads, but
You didn't die.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
I mean, to
that's
answer your-
weird.
Yeah, seriously. And to answer your question
didn't
from
know
earlier
that.
about have people died, I bet you maybe some have after like
And maybe they haven't.
yeah,
Maybe they haven't reported it
like
either.
you got diagnosed with Havana syndrome in 2019, and then a few years go by, and then you die.
Maybe they had comorbidities.
Yeah, could be.
Or
Like they
maybe
did with the
maybe the COVID came out, and that's how they hid the deaths.
maybe.
That's
Somebody died.
that's-
No, it's COVID.
that's
Not
right there,
actually got killed by Havana syndrome.
Yeah,
Wow, I did not know that about the Australians.
yeah, dude.
So they got an actual LRAD. They thought they were going to use, but they didn't use it.
Yeah. So they
They used something else.
they show the LRAD, and then they got them with something else, and yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. So we're all so just to let everybody know, I got a graphic on screen. I can put this in the show notes as well on our blog. We've got Paris 2021, we got Berlin 2021, Vienna, Geneva, of course the Washington D.C. Ellipse Lawn near the White House. I mean, they're hitting the White House in 2020. Serbia, Guangzhou, China, India, and Hanoi, Vietnam, and of course Havana, Cuba. And here's another picture here I wanted to show you. This is a sonic weapon that could cause Havana syndrome, but they said there's smaller versions of this. But that just looks menacing.
It does.
Like I'm gonna turn this on to the crowd of people. It just doesn't look good.
Yeah, so that's a similar to a smaller version of the 1990s Soviet microwave generator. Okay, so that's interesting.
Which this is kept at the University of New Mexico. Anyway,
What?
yeah, yeah. There's so much going on here. Of course, let's see symptoms: loud noise, ear pain, intense head pressure, vibration. What else we got here?
Dude,
I
some
read
people have
something.
to have like a service dog ever since it happened. Because they
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
because they never
can't
regain
function.
everything. Yeah.
Let's see. I forgot when I got this article. This had to be. Let me so I can get context. This was February 3rd. That's how recent this article is. So the resource I'm reading right here is last month. So this is February. So when I say last month, it means January. A CIA task force said the illness is not a product of a sustained global campaign by a hostile power aimed at hundreds of U.S. diplomats and spies. Of course you said that.
Oh, they
So
said
that-
it's
yeah,
not.
it's not. It's not that. The task force made an assessment that not all the cases were caused by a hostile power, but said 12 cases originating in the embassy in 2016 remain unexplained. So
I wonder how they could rule that. How could you possibly rule that out if you don't know?
if you,
If you still don't know the cause, how could you rule that out?
yeah, then why would you make that statement? Because you're trying to throw
Nothing
people
to
off
see
your.
here.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing to see here.
How many times have we seen that?
How many times have they done that? Oh no, it's not an alien from outer space. Yeah, it's not.
There have been roughly 200 reported cases, unexplained illnesses since the first report in 2016 in Havana. Almost half the cases involve CIA officers or their relatives. Nearly 60 have been linked to the Department of Defense workers or relatives, and about 50 involve State Department personnel. That's what the outlet reported. So, dude, you're hitting my family as well. That's what's crazy about it. You're not just hitting somebody that, and if it is testing, this is just bad. Like, You're hitting my whole family.
Yeah.
Back in September, Vice President Kamala Harris departed from Singapore during an Asian trip and was delayed more than 3 hours because of an anomalous? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Anomalous?
Yeah, like
it
an
just
anomaly.
sounds wrong.
Yeah.
A health incident in Hanoi, which we just saw on the map. It was in Hanoi, Vietnam, which that was her next stop on the Asian trip. So that was they were saying that as a Havana syndrome that happened to her. So, I mean, are we going all the way up the chain?
So they said that happened to,
Or she was about to go there,
is that why she?
and then someone got.
Well, it says
Is that why she?
her
laughs
departure
like that?
from Singapore was delayed because of a health incident in Hanoi. It didn't happen to her, but they said
She was about to go somewhere
Yep.
where it happened.
where it just happened.
Oh,
We need to not
So
do
we're
that.
not going to put you
I
in
thought
danger.
you said it happened to her, and that's why she laughs so crazily all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should have her
That's her.
laugh. You need to.
You're
need,
right.
You need to get her laugh on here.
You're right.
She
the
has
cackle.
a very recognizable laugh.
It's Jokerish.
It's
yeah.
I feel like she has that
Maniacal.
syndrome that Joker had in the movie, the Joaquin Phoenix.
She does laugh at very inappropriate times.
You know how he's just, I don't know if that's a real thing.
now
in
he's
that
psychotic.
movie.
It's
In that movie, he keeps a card. Have you seen the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, he has a card. He has a disorder. And I don't know if that's real or
oh,
made
it is.
up.
No, it is.
That is real.
Yes, that is a real syndrome. Yes.
And you're just laughing just out of nowhere. I think that's her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw a video of some guy that actually had it that Joaquin Phoenix was watching as he prepared for the role.
Oh,
Yep,
good.
I saw
Yeah.
that too.
And yeah, he nailed it. He really
Yeah,
did.
he's a good actor. I'm not sure of his political.
He really is a good actor, definitely.
No, he's a liberal.
We all like to be entertained.
I think
most of
everyone.
them are.
Yeah,
Except Chris Pratt.
even Matthew McConaughey's a liberal. He says
Isn't
he's not,
that weird?
but he
Right.
kinda
He
is.
does all these.
I think he's more of a libertarian.
Maybe I don't know, dude. He was like super pro mask.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
he was very pro mask.
Yeah, most of them were. I don't know if they were just getting talking points or they really felt that way.
Yeah, that's always an interesting discussion.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if they get like direct marching orders or if it's like, okay, there's sort of just like an unspoken thing where you have to be within a certain, boundary.
Yeah.
And if you step outside, like no more movies for you, probably.
Right.
Like your career's just essentially over.
Yeah, because all of them seem to do. It's like the news, where you see those clips where they're all saying the same thing.
Yeah.
The Hollywood celebrities are the same way.
Yeah.
They're like they get in this pile and they're just all saying the same thing.
Well, do you think it's because of that or because they're in their own echo chamber?
Could be that too.
Everybody has the same ideas, and so when you get together, most people don't think outside of their social structure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard for people to do that, and when you do that, you're frowned upon.
James Wood.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why cults, aka cults. That's why cults happen. Anyway,
I've heard Vince Vaughn is libertarian, and Kurt Russell I think is conservative.
Kurt Russell is, yeah.
Yeah. I saw him on The View where they were like pushing him hard on guns, and he was just very well versed in.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I think when they get somebody on that's like Kurt Russell, they think, oh, he's on our side,
Right.
and then all of a sudden he starts spitting facts out,
Yeah.
and it throws them off. They don't know what to do with it
Yeah.
because typically they're hostile towards somebody that's on there.
The View. Why would you even go
Why do
on
you
that show?
want?
Yeah. Dude, that
Gross.
show's been on for a long time.
It
too, right?
has.
Dude, yeah.
That says a lot about the state of our society if we're still watching that.
Yeah, and who's watching it? I only see clips of stupidity on it.
Yeah. That's
I
all
don't.
I ever
You know what
see,
I'm saying?
too.
I don't sit down and go, "Hey, the View's on."
Yeah. Let's go watch
Who
Joy
does that
Behar
anymore?
and Whoopi Goldberg.
Gosh.
Right, and they're like acting like, well, maybe it is because they have a live audience.
Mm-hmm.
And they're sitting down there in the cameras, so they're acting like, okay, we have people that's watching us right now. We're speaking to you.
I guess so.
Is anybody watching?
I feel dirty after this conversation.
Yeah.
No, dude.
The View. Oof.
There was a funny
The
episode
View.
where Donald Trump Jr. went on there.
Oh,
have you
dude,
guys
they
seen
were
the
trying-
clip from that.
They were,
It was
they were so
hilarious.
hostile.
Oh yeah, and
They hate
and
him.
he was hostile right back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was.
They hate him. I'm sure they hate him.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Well, good for him that he went, though. He wasn't a coward.
Well, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
For sure.
Who else? Somebody that goes on Bill Maher's show. They have to have Kanye's too. Like Russell Brand was just on Bill Maher. He seems like he just did a tour,
Mm-hmm.
Because he'll come over here. I saw him on Bill, then I saw him on Joe, then I saw him on a news outlet. So he comes over here and goes, you know what? I'm just going to get on these interviews.
Yeah, because he's across the pond.
Yeah, he is. And he has his own show over there, too.
Have you ever watched his podcast?
Yeah.
That's really good.
It is good.
It is.
I like how he thinks he's just enlightened. He's an enlightened figure.
Yeah. He was a recovering addict.
Oh, yeah. He talks about that a lot.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. And do you guys know Theo Vaughn, the comedian?
Yeah, he's hilarious.
He's also a recovering addict.
Yep.
What's his name?
Theo Vaughn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know him.
He's hilarious.
Yeah. He used to be on that one show, Road Rules, on
Yeah,
MTV
yes, he was.
way back
Oh,
in the
my
day.
gosh. Road Rules.
Road Rules.
Back in the day.
Real World Road Rules.
Yeah.
The Challenge.
The challenge.
The
We
real
grew up on
world.
that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. That was like a spinoff. That was like the second reality show. The other one was, what was The House?
Real world.
Real World.
Oh, okay. So Road Rules was a spinoff
Yeah.
because you hit the road. That was the original reality show.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I think Big Brother was like UK's version of
Yep.
Real World, right?
I think at that point it was so new. I think people were actually real in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Like today's reality shows, it's just scripted and fake. I don't believe it at all.
Yeah, some of it just
You know what
seems
I'm saying?
really over the top. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
It's either scripted or they know they're on camera and that's not how they really act in real life.
yeah.
Because who talks
What
like
do you
that?
think, Jason?
We drifted off the topic.
We did.
Did somebody hit the Havana syndrome?
Oh, that's exactly what I was thinking right now. I'm like, did they just get hit and I'm just sitting here? What's going on?
I don't. I mean, I'm done with. I don't have anything else to say. It's a weapon. I think like you said, it can fit in a suitcase.
Yeah, dude.
If they are testing it, I don't know. If they are testing it, I think the tests have been successful because they've hurt people.
Yeah, and I guess like probably the big discussion we could, maybe land the plane with here on this show is like, for all of us, we understand it because we've talked about it, how like, the government agencies and stuff with very little oversight and practically unlimited budget like the CIA, they act with impunity basically.
Absolutely.
They do these things all the time. The public's not aware of it. You only hear like whispers of this stuff. So it's not hard for us to realize that our own government would attack us and attack, people within the CIA itself. But I feel like that's just such a tough pill for the general public to swallow. Like you can tell that to people who, maybe aren't in conspiracy circles at all. And you can say it until you're blue in the face. They just won't believe you.
They won't believe you.
They will not believe you.
Dude, they'll look at you like you're crazy. Like, no. And even if you show them like the unclassified documents, they're like, nah,
Really?
I don't believe it. The JFK thing, dude.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Dude, I was talking to somebody the other day about JFK, and they're like, no, I don't think that's what happened. And I said, dude, the declassified documents, go check them out. I mean, you can. And they're like, you can? But they don't care enough to.
Yeah, they just want to get the official story,
Right.
and that's what I'm going to go with.
They want to get it from Brian. On
Brian
CNN.
Stelter.
Brian Stelter is going to tell
Yeah.
me the truth.
And then that's it. And they'll
Reliable
go about our
sources.
day.
Yeah, and then if anything's outside of that, it's conspiracy theory.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's not the official story.
Like the whole conspiracy theory about the virus being from a lab. The mainstream media just dogged on everybody and just labeled them a conspiracy theorist. Oh, they're just conspiracy theorists. But what do we know now? We know now that it came from a lab.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, do you guys watch that one clip of Jon Stewart with?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like maybe a penguin kissed a turtle.
Kissed a
Yeah.
turtle
Yeah.
and it just had coronavirus.
Yeah.
And Stephen Colbert the whole time was just trying to stomp the
He
joke
was
out.
so uncomfortable.
He was just like his earpiece was probably just like stop it.
And you couldn't with John. And
Yeah.
that's what I loved. John's to the left, but
Yeah, John was like, "Oh, here's an idea. The name of the virus is on the lab."
Yeah, seriously.
yeah.
And then everybody was laughing. And then I think the joke that he stopped him with, he kicked his legs out from under him, was, "Are you working for?" It was some Republican.
Mhm.
Are you working for this guy? And it kind of kicked his legs out. Dude, and as soon as he did that, I thought of a great he could have kept going. He said, "I don't know, you working for Hillary?"
Yeah.
He could have come back with that and kept going.
could have kept
but
going.
he kicked the legs out, and then they switch subjects.
Right. I think John was aware that why he wanted the transition. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because Colbert worked for John on the Daily Show.
Yeah, on the Daily Show.
Yep.
When he used to have that character, he was actually fun to watch.
Not anymore.
No.
Oh, dude, he's a total sellout now.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Have you seen like his show will do anything that his handlers tell him. He's like, I've seen him on there like dancing with like
the hypodermic needles.
Yeah, like people
that
dressed
is
up
so
like vaccines. And
cringy.
And I was like, what is going on?
That
dude?
is so cringe.
I was like, this is so like upfront, forward messaging. Like
it was pretty bad.
It was weird.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's okay with it or is he like, hey, I just signed my check. I don't care.
Oh, dude,
or is he really behind it going, yeah, I believe this stuff?
He could be. I've heard Kimmel is. I heard he really believes all that stuff.
Oh, Kimmel.
He's
my
an
gosh.
idiot. He's an idiot.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Dude, he the way he like is so condescending to people who like disagree with him on anything. It's horrible.
Yeah.
All these like late night TV funny men are all in the same boat now, dude. I feel like Jimmy Fallon's probably the least.
He's probably the least, yeah.
Because he doesn't really get like too political on his show.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, and he actually is trying to be funny.
Right. Yes.
He just wants to have fun, which I can appreciate.
Right.
That's like what the late night TV funny guys used to do. Like it used to just be like, this is just a funny late night show, but now it's like, here's the message.
Yeah, the message.
We're going to put the message first and maybe a joke second.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the writer's room is just full of activists.
Oh, so gross.
Not comics anymore.
Yeah. What's weird is you have to have a room full of writers for you.
Yeah.
And then you're reading off a cue card. Can you not come up with something?
No.
Do you have any say-so on what they're writing?
Betas.
Beta!
All of them.
Beta.
We're going to have to get you a
beta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I've got it. I'm going to do Jesse Lee Peter. Yeah, I'm going to do him.
Yeah.
On here. We're going to hit it just like that's going to be beta.
Yeah.
Beta.
And then Hillary, not Hillary, what's
Kamala.
her face? Kamala's laugh.
Oh, Kamala's laugh and Jesse Lee's beta.
Yeah.
I'll get that in here.
Yep.
Awesome.
No doubt, dude.
So are we all in agreement that the most likely culprit here is the CIA?
Absolutely.
I think so.
I'm in agreement with that.
I think 100%.
Because we've, like you said, the my mind just went blank. What was that? MK Ultra.
Yeah.
We've seen it, and it's been documented that they have done that, and they have tested on their own people.
Yeah.
And it's just weird that it would be in an embassy with diplomats.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why not, some weird family out in the desert?
Yeah.
You didn't test it on them. You did it on your own people.
Yeah.
It's just strange. So, yeah, CIA.
That's another weird thing. Whenever you call into question the CIA, I've done this before at like work, and so I don't talk about this stuff at work anymore because people just,
Oh, here comes Mike.
yeah, they're like, oh, dude, this guy.
Dude, I do it at work, and they said the same thing, and I love it. I go, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Dude, I can't. I have to be undercover
Yeah, you do.
That's good.
in mine because I won't let anybody know what I think.
Why?
Because I can just
They'll hold it
I can
against you, dude.
feel. I could just feel. I already know what would happen.
I thrive in the judgment.
That's
I want to
good.
keep my
Dude,
job.
Yeah.
I don't want to get fired.
Yeah, they
so.
could fire you over.
Yeah,
they
that's
could.
why I don't have any of my work stuff on Facebook. I don't say where I work on Facebook, so I'm not. They can't go, oh, you're representing our company or
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
like
that's
that. I'm
smart.
just, you know what I'm
That's
saying.
smart.
I don't say where I work.
Do you know what you can do even better than that?
What?
Not have a Facebook.
Get off Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to do that still. I'm basically
you're
like
off.
no.
What's
dude,
weird is
I have a
Mike's on
profile.
Facebook, but he's not on Instagram.
Yeah, I have a profile. I just like don't do anything with it, so it's just been sitting there.
Keep it
Occasionally,
All I do is tag for the show.
yeah. Occasionally, I'll get on and I'll like some stuff, and yeah, you link me some things. I check out the stuff you link me, but
there. Don't mess with it. Keep it that way.
maybe delete it, like you said.
No, keep it that way. So they think that they're. Oh yeah, he has a Facebook, but he hasn't been on. Or we don't know what he's doing.
It could be, yeah.
So anyway, you go up to the guys
Yeah,
at
go
work.
over.
Yeah, so you go up to, normies and say, like, look at all the terrible stuff that the CIA used to do with, the JFK stuff and, MK Ultra and they're like, oh, but they're all well and good today, though. They fixed all that. It's like, oh, really? How? How did they?
No,
when-
they're still working on it.
Yeah, how and when did they fix all that?
Well, those times have changed.
Yeah, times have changed. There'd be an oversight committee for sure. That's just like, oh my. there's no convincing you.
There's always a committee.
Yeah, you're right. There's no, even if you had everything out in front of them, they still would choose to believe something different.
Yep. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's why, like, let's say, for example, things get more and more tyrannical, and then a bunch of people, take to protest. All that they would have to do in the United States is just politicize it. They'd be like, oh, extreme right-wingers are protesting, and then half the country would be like, oh, I don't support that. Even if it's like for your basic liberties, like, no.
They're doing that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all it is, dude. Their playbook is like foolproof because we can't get past that.
That is so true.
Dude.
Yeah, did you hear what Arnold said? Screw your freedoms.
Yeah, I couldn't believe he said that. I was like,
screw your freedoms.
I was like, man.
Did you hear him say that?
Yeah, no, I was like,
yeah, he was talking about everyone. He was like, when the COVID thing was like, no, we don't want to be locked down. We want to be able to go to work. Why are you saying I'm essential? He's not. And Arnold was like, just stay home. We got to flatten the curve.
Yeah.
That's a horrible accent, but whatever. You get the point. But he said, screw your freedom.
Yeah, he did say that. I was a big Arnold fan before that. Like, my favorite movie is like Terminator 1 and 2. I think those are excellent films. But
mine was Predator.
Yeah, mine's Predator.
Predator's a great one as well.
Dylan, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Dude, The Running Man, have you seen that movie? That's a good one. That's a good one as well. It's like a futuristic game show where you have to like fight for your life. And he's in it. It's great.
Kindergarten Cop?
Yeah, great one.
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, he's in so many good movies, dude. And and it's a shame.
He's been pregnant. Carried the baby.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wait, what is that?
He was pregnant.
He was pregnant.
Oh. And which one?
Yeah, he went to full term.
He was
I forgot how they did that. I got to go back and watch that.
Yeah, I don't know how they did it.
It wasn't twins. It was dang it, what was it?
You set the trend for
the transgender.
You said it.
I did say it.
You did say it.
Yeah. Now the hate group is going to come after me.
Yeah, and then he had one with Danny DeVito.
Twins.
Yeah. Yeah, Twins was good. He's been in a lot of good ones. Eraser, fantastic.
Dude, yeah, he was in like every movie for a little while.
He was
Junior.
Junior.
That was the name of the movie.
I've never seen Junior.
Yeah, here he is, right here. He's pregnant. He's got DeVito in it. Yeah, he did the movie with twins where DeVito was his twins. I forget how they did this. It was some kind of new medical thing, and he doesn't have a uterus. I got to figure that out.
Oh, like what they explained it as in the movie?
It's just a movie, though.
Yeah, I know, but they have to give science, right?
No, Predator. You think about Predator? How did they get the alien to just...
Right. How?
I don't know.
Anyway, Junior, yeah, he was pregnant. So, yeah, he was ahead of the time right there.
But, yeah, it sucked to hear him say, screw your freedoms.
Screw your freedoms.
Yeah. There was, like, another guy who got a ton of heat recently. Like, do you know who Sam Harris is?
Sam Harris from the Emmys?
No, he's
the devil guy?
I know who Sam Harris is.
He's like a podcaster, and I think he's like a big atheist too.
It's like philosophy.
Yeah.
I don't think I know Sam. Go ahead.
He was saying, he was like, yeah, like if the virus was just, hospitalizing children left and right, like we would have had no tolerance for any of this vaccine hesitancy that we saw, blah, blah, blah. And a comedian was like, so basically if everything was different, you would have been right. That's what you're saying.
Right.
And he actually like fled from Twitter after that because he just got like owned. So
scorched.
He did. Yeah. And he said something about like the Hunter Biden laptop. He was like, there could be, children in his basement on the laptop, and I still wouldn't care. That would not be as bad as Trump being in office.
What?
Yeah. I'll send you that clip. It was
That's just delusional.
Yeah, it is delusional.
Dude, he's like probably the best case of like Trump derangement syndrome, if you've heard that.
Like, I just can't stand Trump because everybody told me I shouldn't, but I'm okay with kids on your laptop in the basement.
Yeah.
People, especially men, that can't think for themselves and have then regurgitate everything that they hear, right?
Yeah.
And they can't look outside of themselves are 100% what I'm about to say.
Beta!
There you go.
I like that long.
Yeah.
That's good, Jay. I like that.
Beta.
Oh, man. Well, that was a good show, guys.
That
Havana
was.
Syndrome. I know we're off topic a lot, but hey, that's what you get with us three weirdos on a mic, right? It's I think we got to the bottom of what it is who it's targeting, and we think it's CIA. So we got to the bottom of that part.
Yeah.
Where is it? I can't put my hands on the weapon, so I can't tell you that. I don't know who's using it, but
And we don't know the end game. The end game could be anything.
I don't know the end game. So, hey, if you're listening on YouTube, Rumble, and BitChute, and you like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment. And if you're listening on any other of the podcasting platforms, please do me a favor, follow and turn on notifications so you never, ever miss an episode when we publish. If you did not like this episode, I thank you for listening this long. And tune in next week when you might hear Byron say, "Why is my nose bleeding?"
Uh-oh.
Yeah.